Hello, I'm Tara Brabazon, and I am, from this coming Tuesday, about to teach a course titled Scholarship. And every week of Scholarship, the students will be investigating a particular theorist, a particular topic, and learning a brand new skill. It's a first-year course. It's very exciting. First time I've taught it, so I'm a bit nervous. Let's see how it goes. But one of the weeks, I'm going to be teaching speed, and I'm going to be teaching the impact of speed, and particularly the emerging media and the speed of emerging media on our understanding of reading and how reading is transformed. And needless to say, my theorist of that week is a gentleman by the name of Paul Virilio. And some of the enabling documents to help the students understand Paul Virilio come from a man I happen to know via an accident of marriage. A lot of you know my husband, Professor Steve Redhead, is one of the great scholars of a lot of things, but one of them is Paul Virilio. So I thought I'd ask Steve the very cheeky question on behalf of all my wonderful first-year students who are reading Virilio and going, why the hell am I doing this? Steve, why should first-year students read Paul Virilio? What do they get out of it, man?
I think it'd be interesting to ask Virilio, who's still alive. He's actually in his 80th year. He's still a professor at the European Graduate School in Switzerland, and he was a professor of architecture for many, many years in France. He is interesting for first years for all sorts of reasons, but actually, as he gets older, he writes shorter and shorter books. So, challenged first-year students who don't want to read 3,000 pages can actually read 89 pages of a Virilio book. For example, the most recent book, The Great Accelerator, which has just been translated into English, is about 94 pages. But he's always been very pithy. Pithy, I said. So I think it's not just simply the length of the books, it's actually what he's trying to do is to put into almost aphoristic language, into little aphorisms, really quite difficult ideas, particularly about the speed of communications. He's very interesting on that, I think. And in some ways his time has come. It's really rather late in life, but a lot of what he's been saying over the last 30 or 40 years really has come to fruition. For example, the accelerated crash and meltdown of stock exchanges. He was predicting that 20, 30 years ago, and in many ways what he argued at that time has come to pass as a result of automated stock exchanges and computers talking to each other and so on at ever-increasing speeds. He's very interesting, though, for another reason, I think, and that's that he himself has been read in military academies. A lot of what his work has stood for, really, as I suppose, is a theorisation of speed, of technology, of power and war. And it's interesting that is the case, that he's you wouldn't have thought it, but he's actually been studied by the very people he's been trying to explain. And I think it is interesting for people across disciplines to look at someone like Virilio. You can't necessarily pigeonhole him. He was a professor of architecture, but he never practiced as an architect. And a lot of what he was writing about was the mobility, if you like. There's a modern sort of development of mobility studies, and Virilio is right up there in that kind of area. But he's very, very interesting for people in the sort of faculty we're working in at the moment, Faculty of Arts and Media Technologies at the University of Bolton. And I think students will actually get things out of Virilio in a first year that perhaps they wouldn't get out of more sort of conventional theorists who are still in the academy. Virilio has been out of the academy for quite some time and really does write for, if you like, the generally interested reader. And that's why I think it would be worth trying Virilio on first-year students.